What's up, guys? It is Rick Ginn on Flip with Rick. We are live. I was like, are you live? Is this recorded? No, it's 100% live. And today we are talking all about the smartest route to 250K in wholesaling real estate. And if you're watching this live stream, you go, are you kidding me? $250,000? I'm just telling you, I used to think the same thing. I'm like, dude, just get me to my first grand. Get me to my first 3 grand, 5 grand, 10 grand. So what I'm going to do is give you a play to get all the way up to 250, and it's actually much simpler than you think it is. So here's what I want you to do is you have the comment section. This is a perfect place to introduce yourself, let us know what market you're in, and you can find like-minded individuals. Make sure if you're going to work with someone that you vet them properly. Don't assume what everybody says is true. That's why we have so many gurus in this world. I don't want to harp on that one today. So use the comment sections. And then as usual, you guys know how to connect with us on the lives. If you don't know how to do it, go over to their Facebook group, Wholesaling Houses for Real. Click on today's live stream. There'll be a StreamYard link. Just click into there. And I kind of do first come, first serve. And I try to move through. So have your questions organized. Don't complain because I don't take complaints well because there's nothing I can do to fix complaints. So let's work on solutions and things to help you out in the business. And you have to bring responsibility and truth. Otherwise, I can't help you out at all. So that's about it on this. What else we got? What are any other announcements? Oh, so before the end of this live, maybe you guys can give me some Valentine's Day tips. I've been married 27 years. It is challenging when you've known a woman 30 plus years, been married almost 27, to get them gifts other than chocolate on Valentine's Day. So, and you know what, guys, I love you, but I'm more interested in listening to the ladies' feedback on this because I don't know, man. It's like, let me tell you, is it hard to write a Valentine's Day card after that many years? It's like, how many things can you say? But we can't skip it. We got to do it. I love wholesaling. I've been doing this 20 plus years. You guys know my son, Zach. He takes Fridays off. So you are here with me. So let's fire this candle. Let's light this candle. Let's get it going.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, get the guy go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
That's it, guys. So that video is a culmination of how I feel about wholesaling. I am a professed ADHD. I was diagnosed in school. I was told I would never get a good job. And I'm here to tell all my teachers, you were right. I was never meant to get a good job. I was meant to control my own destiny, to provide for my family, and never make an excuse about my situation. And to be honest with you, it was a long journey for me to figure that out, but I figured it out at 33. So if you're 14 or 15 just watching this, learn. Because I'm telling you, you guys are like stuck in this matrix thing. There's so much better for you out there. You have no idea. So many guys limit your thinking. And I just did an entire video. If you guys get a chance, make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel at Rick Ginn, along with Flip with Rick, because I just did an entire video on this. And honestly, I poured my heart into it. And I gave everything I got with it. So it's perfect for you people that are stuck. You can link at this content if you're subscribed to my channel. So make sure you check out Rick Ginn, because I talk about real estate and I talk about life, and I get to talk about like kids too. So most of you are kind of have something going on there, and then that's what you want to do. So I'm seeing all your comments here. To be honest with you guys, we got some ridiculous spammers. So So guys, make sure you ignore the diamond REI. Apparently it's like a bot hitting at us, and I'll make sure they're blocked. It's just ridiculous that people spam like this. So guys, make sure you never use diamond REI solution because they just keep spamming in our thing, and I know nothing about them, and I'll have them blocked after the show. God, like, do people understand spamming doesn't work? Nobody buys this crap. So it's like ridiculous. So let's talk about the smartest route to 250, not the most painful route, the smartest route. Because what I've learned in wholesaling is we're all grinders and hustlers in the beginning. And the fact that you guys pick the right boat is the start. But you can either row smart or you can row recklessly. So you ever been, if you've ever had the luxury of rowing a boat with someone and it required two people, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Because some people just like go crazy. Or you ever see the guy or gal in the gym that like doing the rowing machine? My daughter used to row, so I'm not an expert on it, but I understand it. For those of you that do crew, brutal sport. But anyways, the purpose is you want to find the smartest way to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, if you guys are brand new to this channel and you're like, what the heck is talking? Make sure you put your comments in there. Make sure you give me a little bit of love on the like button if you like the material, and make sure you subscribe to this channel so more people can understand they don't have to pay for wholesaling courses. We actually provide it for free for you. If you want to learn how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach designed a course there. There's 27 years of experience of the Ginns, specifically on wholesaling, how to get your first deal and how to get you to first 100K. I have thousands and thousands of people that have had massive success with it. I never ask for a testimonial. People just give it organically, and that's what you guys want to get feedback on. Almost every course you're going to buy on wholesaling has some sort of fake testimonial on it, and they do it to convince you to buy into their product. So I believe wholesaling should be free. It's my opinion. If you guys want to pay for it, you can pay for it. Number two, I don't think you should ever have to talk to a salesman to buy a course. Either the course stands on its own or the course shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be talked into a wholesale course. So it just drives me out. Go over to freewholesaling.com and jump in there, get started. So let's jump in today's live. And then what I'll do is talk for the first part of it. And then I'm going to get to the lives as fast as possible. So I'm not going to go on too long today. So I want to spend more time talking with you guys. So let me get through this and let's do it. So the smartest way to 250K, I want you to understand the key word here is the smartest. There's a million ways to get to 250K, but what we have to do is break it down mathematically and figure out what is it we need to do to accomplish it. Because if you don't know how to get there, you're never going to get there. So if you don't have a GPS, a compass, or a map, you have no shot. So I see a lot of people in wholesaling, they have no goals. They like, I just want to get a deal. You're going to need more than that to keep pushing along. You've really got to have your why nailed down, because I've already told you wholesaling is not the easiest business. It takes very consistent hard work and action. So these gurus that tell you it's so simple, you just sit on the beach and flip it, it's because you guys are giving them $5,000, $10,000 paychecks and they're sitting on the beach flipping you. Probably flipping you off, but it just understand when you do it. So let's talk about the smartest way. So let's just break this down. So if you just focus on getting 20 deals, now don't get me wrong, you got to focus on getting your first, but I'm giving you a vision board so you can, hold on, let me get that off there. So you can focus on how to achieve this. And by the way, 250K, if you, by your second year of wholesaling is in my opinion, a flat out give it. Sorry. I'm just telling you, if you do this business after 2 years, you can't make 250K, we need to look at and see what you're doing. And this, this live stream is all about. So 20 deals on average, that gives you $10,000 to $12,000 a deal. I just kind of broke it down with simple math. Everybody agree with that? It doesn't take 100 deals to make 250K. And guys, by the way, if you made 12K a deal, let me do some math here. I think that works out, right? Let's see. 250, 12.5. And I promise you, you'll have some $40,000, $50,000 bombs in there, and you're going to blow this number out of the water. So 20 deals, 250. So I'm just telling you the path to get there. So many people think they have to do 100 deals and you don't. Nor are you think you're going to flip 5 deals and make 250, because you have to do a different business model to do that. So in order to do that, you have to keep breaking it down each level from this. Okay. Now, today I'm talking about the math and the blueprint so you understand, because a lot of you guys ask, well, how many calls do I have to make? How many appointments do I have to go on? How many contracts I have to write? And you know what? They're actually good questions. I wish somebody went over this in the beginning with me, because it would have helped me understand how much work I have to do. Because the reality is, if you don't know how many leads to get, you don't know how many phone calls to make, you don't know how many contracts to write, and how many deals you need to close, you're just going to randomly get whatever you get. So 20 deals. The next step is going to be the 20 deals. You have to have 40 appointments. Now, this can be virtually, this can be physically, but the appointments are the key. The appointments means they pass the qualification purposes, and we're now going to assess the property and try to get a contract inked. So I look at appointment. So you have to understand the appointments have to be quality. I'm not 40 crappy appointments probably won't even cut it. But on average, if you go on 40 appointments, you should be able to get half those. I'm sorry. Like, you've already vetted them, you've qualified them. You just have to convince them you can get the job done and get them to sign. That's the challenge of the appointment. So to do that, you're going to have to construct 100 offers. How do I know this? I've been through this gamut so many times. And offers, this is not like an MLS course where you write 3,000 offers, okay? I teach you how to do it, but I'm just telling you, it's not my favorite way to do wholesaling. It's actually my least favorite way. MLS is very, very hard to negotiate. They have to sit for a long time, and you have to compete with others. So to get to 20 deals, you're going to have to write 100 offers, and from that, turn that into 40 appointments. And then from there, that should equate you close to 20 deals. Now, keep in mind, your experience level is going to have a huge impact on this. That's why I say 2 years. I'm the only one who's honest out here about it. Your first year, it's all over the dang board. Honestly, I always tell everyone, in your first year, the goal is to strive for 100 grand, because you proved to yourself that this is a sustainable business that I can continue to grow. So moving on to the next one. Now we got to go the layer below this. So understand it like this. You're going to need 60,000 leads. And I know that sounds completely overwhelming, but it's not. Remember, a lead, you have no idea. It doesn't mean you need 60,000 like people to sell their house. You need 60,000 potential, what we call prospects. So prospects, you can call them leads. Everybody interchanges it. And then from that, it will equate to 20 deals if you consistently work your leads. 60,000 is not nearly what you think it is. So let's break down the list on top of this, okay? Of that 60,000, 10,000 of it, which is less than a third, less than 20%, is going to be your government list. These are going to be your probates, pre-foreclosures, eviction lists, tax delinquencies, fire damage, water shutoffs. 10,000. Well, Rick, 10,000, that's not a lot. I go, the reality is there's only so many people on the government list. You're not getting hundreds of thousands of people on these lists. So if you're in a big metropolitan area, you might be able to get 25,000. But the reality is these lists are typically much smaller. So over like a year's time, if you could combine a 10,000 government list. Now, the only one I probably exclude and keep it outside of this is the tax delinquency, because that's usually a big number. And I would probably count that towards my regular list. So that's the only exclusion I would put on there. Outside of tax delinquency, 10,000 is what you need. And the beauty of these is these are usually much higher quality leads. Yes, you're going to have people that tell you to take a hike. You're going to have people that hang up on you. But I'm telling you, I rather call in the 10,000 government list than a 60,000 paid list all day long. Guys, I've been doing this a long time. I'm just telling you, it's painful to get these lists. It's a lot of work. and most investors won't go through the hoops to get it. Everybody wants stuff delivered on their computer. I want it too, but the people that will take the extra step and get these specialized lists will have a higher rate of success, and they'll get closer to that 250K faster. That's why I've prioritized it on this list. Now, the balance of them, well, I did 60,000 and 10,000. So the only difference is you got to slide tax delinquency up in this list. So this is a total. You can include the 60K and minus off the 10, or you can add it. Just depends on how aggressive you want to be on this. But the 60,000, when we talk about paid lists, we're just talking about listrei.com, Zach Data, or any type of list services you guys use. They're not required to get this done. And then you can use the list filters. You can do high equity owners. You can do vacant. You can do vacant properties. You can do zombie properties. You can do the tired landlord properties. And remember, most of these services, you get 10,000 leads per month. So it doesn't cost you any more to do it. So that's only 6 months, guys. Imagine if you do it 12 months. So you have to keep breaking down these goals. So when we do the lives today, if anybody wants to work with me, is tell me how you're going to attack your list. Now, in the beginning, I get it. We just get started and we go crazy. But after month 3, you're going to have some sort of organization to do this, or you're going to get lost. That's how I felt when I first started. And then once I got a discipline, I go, listen, I'm pulling 10,000 paid lists, and I'm going to pull 500 government lists every month. And I just can, once I got the consistency past 3 months, then I added more stuff to it. But figure out what your flow is and stick to it. The problem is a lot of investors try to do so many things, they stop doing the things that originally worked for them. That's going to be your biggest problem in wholesaling. You can't be doing a million things. You only have so much bandwidth. The reality is most of us are working by ourselves, or we sucked our wife in to do this with us, or we have an amazing business partner who says, hey, absolutely, I'll do this with you. But you're limited in so much you can do. So don't overstretch yourself. You got to have quality leads. So 50 to 60,000 is going to be on the paid list. And then the government list is 10,000. And keep in mind, in my opinion, I'm only giving you like 6 months worth of work here. If you want to double these numbers, you can blow the 250 out of the water. I'm just giving you options. Now, I want you to understand this. If you did 10,000 government lists and you earn 250K off that alone, that means every pulled lead is basically $25 to you. So you guys are like, some people like to break down and go, how much am I making per phone call? I don't like doing that because it's just kind of weird. It's like, I'm not being paid till I find the yes on the phone call, or if it's in the letter or whatever it is. But some people like, hey, I earn $5 every call I make, or 25, whatever motivates you, do it, because you have to reward your actions to make sure you stay consistent in it. And last but not least, I've taught you guys this, the 3-1-1 rule. And if you don't know what the 3-1-1 rule is, if you don't know what the 3-1-1 rule is, let me explain it to you. So it's just basically, where's StreamYard link? I'm not even going to repeat this stuff. The 3-1-1 rule is, so if you had X amount of hours in a day, so if you were only going to work 5 hours in your day, and that's what most people do. And when I say work, it's actual work. You're like talking to sellers, you're talking to buyers, and you're working on your business, not doing logos, not opening up LLCs or anything like this. 3-1-1 would be what you interact to keep your business running. So the first 3 would represent your marketing effort. That's pulling your lists, that's sorting them, getting the best list, and getting your marketing out there. Because guys, marketing is like blood in your veins. If you don't have it, nothing else works. Acquisitions and dispositions, it doesn't work. In the beginning, you have to spend most of your time on marketing. So if you're just starting out in wholesaling, you're in the right place. What I want you to do is take 3 hours and just go crazy on marketing. Do what I always tell you to do, become a list ninja. Understand your list, play around with the filters, and get them completely dialed in like your life depends on it. That's what I did, because I had very limited funds when I started. And back then I had to pay for every list. The average list I pull was $300 to $500. Now you guys are like listarei.com, 97, 99 bucks a month. You get everything plus comp. It's ridiculous. I didn't tell you what I do when I had to comp properties when I started. I had to start with realtors. I had to sit in their office all day. It's the only way you could figure out information was the MLS and public record, and both of them were hard. So 3 hours to marketing. Don't deviate from this, because if you don't get marketing right, you don't have to worry about the rest. The next one is going to be acquisitions. And then this is the time you go on like appointments and you physically talk to people to get down to like the negotiations and writing contracts. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but the reality is if the marketing's not there, you just don't have a lot of time in the zone, especially in the beginning. And the last one is going to rep your dispositions. And if you spend an hour on dispositions, on selling your properties, and if you don't have a property to sell, you're spending that time building your cash buyers list and getting cash buyer intel. Man, these fish are flying by me. My God. Getting like, I get nervous. I'm used to seeing sharks in the water, and I do not like that. So, guys, the StreamYard link is in Wholesaling Houses for Real. You got to be a member of that group. So go on Facebook and make sure you register there. So I know when I'm talking to someone, I know actually who it is. So guys, that is, let me get this off of here. That is my presentation, which actually we are on schedule today. So kind of crazy. So guys, make sure use the comment section. Where is it? You put it in the comments. I'm going to go through it. Make sure you're subscribed. And my God, please smash that like button. Okay. I highlighted a couple comments. Let's see here. You guys got a lot of questions today. That's good. That's good. Awesome. Awesome. Let's see. So a lot of your questions are like specific to states, and it's hard for me to do that because it doesn't help everybody out. So, what's up, Kenny? I appreciate it. So I want to highlight comments like this. And listen, any comments you guys make to help your business out or help you figure out something in your head, I'm all for it. But I want you guys to be aware when you put comments in like this. So this comment, if someone's in Indiana wants to hook up with them, that's great. But remember, you guys going out screaming, I want to put people under your wings. I'm here to tell you there's people in these chats that unfortunately, me and Zach offer everything for free, but their intentions are to try to take money from you. So when you put comments out like this, you kind of invite strange people contacting you, and I just want you to be aware of it. So, by the way, all you have to do is go over to freewholesaling.com, tune into our lives, and I will help you with everything I have. And what I would do is attend your local RIA groups and network with people. Just don't buy the courses, and you're well on your way. The problem is when you guys go on the internet and you advertise, hey, will somebody help and take me under the wings? Unfortunately, I know your intention's pure. There's people that are going to try everything in the world to take advantage of you. And I'm just telling you, I hear it every day from you guys. So when you put this out there, you kind of make yourself a target. So don't do it, especially when you go on any of the Facebook groups or social media. You will be pounded out there if you say you want to pay for mentoring. You'll probably get 100+ messages in a 5-minute period. That's how bad it is. So just be aware of it. I'm not picking on you. I just like, I can take you on my wing, but like you got to do the work when it all comes down to it. So, so Corey's got a quick question. I'm going to jump on the lives here. Hey, listen, when going to see a house, do you have your contracts pre-filled out for a quick signature, or do you prefer having them signed through DocuSign? So if you're physically going, here's what I do. When I walk in the house, I have nothing on me. Not ready for this. I know it's going to shock a lot of you. I don't even bring my phone. It's a sign of respect to the seller. It means you're there and present in the moment. And I'm telling you guys, for those of you that always run around and you're always trying to do 10 things ahead of you and dealing with stuff in the past, when you get to wholesaling and you get to an appointment, you have to be laser focused. Don't bring your phone in. Don't bring a pen in. Don't bring in a folder in. The only thing you should bring in is maybe the keys to your car. That's it. Why? Because everything's a distraction and you create stress to your seller by carrying around briefcases and paperwork. And remember, you're trying to bring you're trying to make it a very personal transaction. So the best way to do it is get to the point, get to the negotiation, work it. And then once you have a verbal agreement, I go, listen, do you mind if I go out to my car? I'm just going to get some paperwork and we can do this together. I find when you do it together, it's much more authentic. I get it. I like to have pre-filled out contract, but you give them an anxiety because now they got to read the whole contract. So if you have someone that's cooperating, just going throughout the contract. And if you use the 2-page contract, it's really simple. When you got to use a full realtor's contract, like 20, 25 pages, it can get painful. So you have to read your sellers. Sometimes they do like it pre-filled out. And if that was your agreement before you got there and they just look at the property and look at you and make sure it's good, then you can pre-fill it out, just leave it in the car. But the best way to do it, honestly, is to just walk in, be yourself, help them out, create a win-win situation. And when you have a verbal agreement, go out to the car and get it. And then just, dude, I think at like a 3rd grade level, I just fill it out. I'm like, okay, what's the property address? And what's the amount we agreed on? Okay. And when they do that, they don't feel like they have to read every line and paragraph because you help them already do it. And you make them much more comfortable. When you come in with a slick pre-filled out one, like they get nervous. They go, oh, I got to read this over. And so my solution is to read it over together with them. But let me know if that works for you. I think it's always worked for me. So Brett says, hey, are you guys open to sub 2 deals with Sell My Paper, any certain entry fee or minimum cash flow requirements? I'm not opposed to them. I love creative financing. The reality is you have to know how to talk to people in creative financing. So my goal is always to get you guys started in wholesaling. And then if a creative opportunity comes up, jump on it. So I would love to do it. It's got to make sense. And if you don't know if it makes sense, it means it's got a cash flow. It can't just make $100 because it's not the best deal for us. So if you have any questions, what you can do is you can click on sellmypaper.com, which I'll scroll it up here shortly, and you can submit it. Or you can send an email at support@flipwithrick, and I'm happy. I love creative financing, but most people just, they don't understand how they work. So guys, understand creative financing is, if you do it right, you should be positive cash flow from day one, because someone's got to fund these deals. When people put up $30,000 and $50,000 payments, that's real money going out the door. So you got to be aware of it. So yes, absolutely. Let me see the last one. I'll go to lives here. Don says, I have a lead in my town, but owner does not live locally and resides in Texas. No family lives locally. Best way to go, dude, just deal with them on the phone. It's like, I do probably 30% of my deals virtually. Like, people don't live here. It's common for people to have a second home in Florida, and I deal with it all the time. So you can't make it an obstacle. You got to make the solution for it. So just help them out. You can do DocuSign. You can do videos. You can do pictures. With technology today, you are not limited. They got to be open to doing it, but you need to get that going. So Don, don't let it be an obstacle for you. All you have to do is look at the property and assess it. And if they give you the line like, hey, I can't, like, how am I going to get a key in there? If you think you're getting a really good deal, just offer to get a locksmith. Tell them to send you a text or a quick email. Hire a locksmith. It's about $50 to $75. Get in the property. And then once you do it, now you have a key to the property. You put a lockbox on it and make sure you strike a deal with that person. Dude, then you have complete control of the property, and they're kind of like, it'd be perfect if they do a deal for it. So find a way, guys. When they don't live here locally, it's actually advantageous to you. But please don't wait for them. So I used to go like this, to go, hey, Rick, I'll be in town next month and we'll look at it together. I'm like, every time I waited, 9 times out of 10, I lost the deal. So I don't wait anymore. You've got to move fast, because the speed of wholesalers is much faster today with virtual. So don't wait, get it done. And if you need help, just hit us up at sellmypaper.com. I would love to help you out. So guys, let's get started. Let's get going. Let's see who we can help out. What do I have here? Oh my God, I missed a bunch of people yesterday. So what's up, Nick?
Awesome. First of all, I am like really glad that you went over the price formula yesterday. It's like
Okay.
I'm taking notes, and then I'm also
You got a lot of
typing,
paperwork
so
there,
I make
man.
it better.
Okay.
I'm so distracted. It's like it's like I got to get organized. But the questions that I have, as far as the virtual wholesaling, I'm kind of getting stuck on how to do the documentation. I haven't done any cold calls for the virtual wholesaling yet because I'm still. It's like I want to make sure I know what to do to get it under contract and whatnot. So, and I watched some of the wholesaling things on freewholesaling.com. Like as far as do I just email them the contract? How do I deal with the notary? How do I get the title company dealt with and then cash buyer contract? Because I'm getting stuck on how to do that.
Okay. So let's just, so here's a little trick. I can tell you this.
Okay.
I got ADHD
Mhm.
and it's not by choice. It's how my brain's wired and I can't change it. So when people hit me with a lot of stuff, like you got to do this,
Sorry.
I just like, I would freeze. I'm like, and then you go like this, I
Yeah.
can't do anything. And so
I
the best way to do it, honestly, is take everything you just told me and just write it down on a list.
Okay.
So let's do it together right now, and we're going to
Okay.
be efficient while we do this. What was your first question on there? Put it
Uh,
on the top of your list.
Sending the contract to the seller for them to sign.
Okay. So you're doing it virtually, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Simply, you just have to find a service that will allow you to do electronic signatures. Now, here's the beauty. There's 3 million of them out there now.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, we use like the most advanced one. It's like a ridiculous. I think we have to pay like $120 a month. Don't use that one.
Well, I'm pretty
you have
sure
you have e-sign, you have DocuSign. Just look and make sure it's just technology and that's it. Like it's just a piece of software and just say, listen, I would do the most basic service you can and I would minimize my budget on it. Now, I want you to understand this, Nick. The old school days before DocuSign, how would you send a contract to somebody?
I
want you to understand this, like, because you're still going to have this problem.
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of elderly people that do not go on the internet, period. So I have a lot of people like, hey, listen, I'll send you the DocuSign or whatever. There's like, what's a DocuSign?
Yeah.
They're like, no, I just want a piece of paper. Here's how you do it. You fill out your contract. You get like little sticky notes with arrows that says sign here. They're really cheap to buy at like a office supply store.
Yeah.
And you put it on your contract and you go over to the post office. I like to stick them in an overnight. They got a flat rate. I think it's $13 or it's like $20. And then you put a returned envelope in there where they just have to sign it, stick it in there and give it back to their carrier. And you can track it electronically when they drop it off at the post office. Okay. Guys, so many of you are so digitally, like I'm doing everything digitally. You're going to run across people that like operate differently. Sometimes I get frustrated with people and I just overnight a package because some people like to physically feel a contract.
Okay.
So know your crowd and understand them. And lady goes, listen, if you could just send it to me a lot easier. The second way to do it is what you mentioned earlier is a mobile notary. Okay. Now, guys, I didn't start doing this till the last 4 or 5 years. And so a mobile notary on average is going to cost you $50 to $75. Mm-hmm. But they're really good at getting people's signatures. If you have an agreement, they do not negotiate. They are not, you don't want them negotiating. So if you need someone to go physically get a signature, get it to you and get it back to you, a mobile notary is actually excellent. You set up a time for them and give them the information and they can get it done. Sometimes physically somebody needs someone in there to guide them through the documents. Mm-hmm. So we go from basically $20 to maybe $50, $75. Okay. But like, listen, I'm only sending a notary when I know like I have no issue signing it. I just can't get. So I've had little old ladies wait 3 weeks to send me the contract back. I go, listen, how about I just send a notary to your house? Well, when do I know they're going to come? I go, she's going to call you. They're going to set up an appointment and we're going to get it done in the next 24 hours. Does that work for you? And then I call the notary. So you go to notary123.com. Okay. And I got to tell you, man, the notary market is awesome because I even use it locally now because me getting in a car, go chasing a signature, sometimes I can save a lot of time and energy doing it.
And then I don't get it notarized until both signatures, mine and the seller's, are.
So you don't. So in my state, in most states, you don't have to notarize a contract. It's
Okay.
not really a note. Now, occasionally we do it to like keep people like adhere to it, but like it's not a requirement for most title companies. So
Okay.
most notaries have to be stuff that you record at a courthouse, like a deed, an
Okay.
affidavit,
Okay.
or something of a legal nature. So you don't have to worry about like the notary. Mostly you're going to use is just to get a contract executed or to do. Most mobile notaries handle closings.
Okay.
I'm giving you a little trick. You can use notaries to actually get your contract signed
Okay.
because they're going to be better than delivering a package because they're going to person and they stand there with a pen. They go, Mrs. Smith, I need you to sign this page, and this page. And
Okay.
if you have any questions, we're going to call Nick while I have him there. And then you can talk to him about the contract. I'm just here to tell you where you need to sign and make sure you're the signer.
Now, does the title company record the contract, or how do I get the
So
contract?
depending on what state you're in, most states don't record the contract. They
Okay.
record the deed
Okay.
and they'll record a mortgage
Okay.
and any type of like note that you have. So the recording is all left up to the title company. You don't
Okay.
have to deal with that part. And Nick, I'm here to tell you when we go get your next question ready, most of your like legal stuff will be done with the title company.
Okay.
What's your next one?
Like the cash buyer contract. I think one big thing I'm concerned about
Uh-huh.
is if the cash buyer is, say I do a deal in Virginia and I'm not there, but the cash buyer is in Virginia.
Uh-huh.
I'm worried about the cash buyer going around me and stealing the deal out from under me.
So the first thing is you make sure you have a legitimate contract with your seller.
Okay.
Once you have a legitimate contract, you've legally protected your interest if you pay attention. Okay. Now, when you bring in your cash buyer, what document are you going to have them use to buy your contract?
I don't know.
An assignment of contract. That's all it is. Doesn't have to be notarized. Everything's over in freewholesaling.com. Go there and they'll show you how to use the whole thing.
Okay.
So you got to understand your cash buyer to go around your back with that. You would legally have a claim on the property if they did it.
Okay.
And you know who would be in trouble?
Them.
The seller would be in trouble.
Okay.
The cash buyer would be in trouble. And then the most importantly, the title company would be in trouble.
Okay.
And you know who the person is you access, you put the fear of God in, is the title company.
Okay.
The title companies, they sell title and they don't want lawsuits.
Okay. So once I get the seller to sign the contract, I give that contract to the title company.
Correct.
They do whatever they need to.
They're going to run title for you. And they're going to
Okay.
say, hey, everything looks good. You know, she's got like a $200 water lien. You might want to talk to her about it.
Okay.
Most of the time, I have the title company tell them what's owed against the property. I don't care because it's coming out of the seller's side unless you have a different agreement.
Okay.
So you don't have to read title. Remember, Nick, I want you to understand your main job as a wholesaler is to find people that are motivated to sell their property for a discount and match them up with cash buyers. The mechanics, you're going to just learn as you go along, because if you try to learn everything, you won't do wholesaling. There's a lot of moving parts. And I'm here to tell you is I get that you want to know everything, but I'm telling you, you don't want to know everything because you're going to learn it as you get into it.
Okay.
The hardest part is the marketing. And that's why I want you to spend 3 hours on the marketing, because you got to start the marketing, because you got to find a motivated seller just to even start the negotiation. And it takes time.
Yeah.
While you're taking that 30, 60, or 90 days,
Mhm.
you can go through the rest of the course and learn it as you work through it. I'm going to do the opposite of what a college and high school taught you.
Mhm.
We're going to have you work through it as opposed to have you wait 12 years, study everything, and then throw you out into the wild. That's the best way to learn.
And back to that price formula thing a couple of days ago, that video that you did. I mean, I can see exactly where I messed up talking to that one local seller, because I was thinking, oh, I gotta do the 70% rule, which doesn't work at all.
Doesn't work at all. Like, I stopped using that in 2007, by the way, just so you know. Like that rule was struggling when I started in 2003. That rule goes back to the 70s and 80s. I think it's a 1970 rule. That's how they came up with 70%. By the way, guys, if you're stuck on the 70% rule, if somebody will sell your house 70% and there's no real damage in it, buy it. It's give it to me, I'll buy it. It's a guaranteed deal, right?
Yeah.
What else you got? What's the next question?
Obvious. Okay, so the title company, the one you want to use is the one in the state where the seller is and make sure they're friendly to investors, right?
Correct. And when we say friendly, what does that mean?
Uh, they work with wholesalers.
They understand what we do and they support what we do. You understand title companies, most of them are geared towards realtors, and we are not realtors. So the simplest way to qualify them is ask them, do you work with assignment of contracts? Do you handle double closings? Just simple words like that. And if the person seems overwhelmed on the phone, heed the warning. It's going to be a nightmare.
Okay.
So, and here's the other thing is, if I put a contract under Monday and you clear title, can we sell it by Friday? And just see what the reaction is. A lot of title companies go, no, you have to wait 30 days. I just had a title company made me wait 42 days for a cash deal. It wasn't my title company. I had to work with another investor. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Cash deals, once the title's like underwritten and stuff, it should be able to close in 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
A lot of title companies, like, a traditional title company will look at when your contract expires and they assume that's the closing date every time. We're the opposite. I say on or before the 30th. I'm like, it's the 10th. Let's close it. My buyer's ready to go. Remember, we don't get paid till it closes, so we push. So,
Okay.
what else you got on your list?
That's pretty much it. I've gotta get going because I got a job interview. Then I got to work on figuring out the schedule of when I can start doing cold calls.
So Nick, just when you have questions, just prioritize your list and just chop away at it.
Yeah, I got to hit the ground running with the cold calling because that's I know
get started, dude.
Yeah, I know for a fact it's like every time I listen to like you or Zach or anybody who's doing wholesaling, it's always the same story. It's like I'm not cut out for a 9 to 5. I'm not either, but I gotta learn how to do it.
But like, remember, you just got to start the wheels in motion. And remember, you're running a marathon, not a sprint. Sprinters never make it. You know how many sprinters I've seen in this business? 80% of wholesalers are sprinters. If you want to be a marathon runner, I'll show you how to do it.
Definitely.
But like, it doesn't matter when you finish the race. It's like, just finish the damn race.
Yeah, and I know. Yeah, and I know even if I didn't do 100,000 a year, even if I only did 50,000 this year, it would still change my life for the better in such a wonderful way. So I'll let you go. You guys have a great, Nick and Zach, have a great weekend. Take care.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So guys, understanding that, I love the questions also, but like for the most part, you guys can get most of the answers over at freewholesaling.com. And I'm just letting you know. But the point of the exercise with Nick was just like, sometimes you guys get so much information, you feel overwhelmed. Just break it down. Dude, if I showed you my schedule today, you wouldn't even believe it. But like, I sometimes have to sit and break it down in the morning when I have my cup of coffee. I'm like, okay, that's a lot of stuff. But I'm like, but I remind myself why I'm doing it and what I want to do. And you've got to understand how that works. So, okay, let's, okay, let's see here. Let's go to the next one. Ace, you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, I like your panda bear with the glasses. That's cool.
Thanks, man.
You guys are really creative with like your avatars. Like I gotta like step up my game here because it's painful on social media. I mean, I try, but I'm not as hip as my son.
Yeah, man. I had to make sure I found something that stood out.
That's really cool, man. I love it, man. What's going on, man? How can I help you out?
All right. So I've been listening to you and Zach for I'd say about a year now since I started. So I have a couple of deals under my belt that it was more so JVing, and I was helping people find buyers and whatnot, and we made a decent amount of money when the market was in a better position. So now with the change, we've been focusing more on it kind of felt like we were working for somebody, just finding them buyers. So me and my partner switched more to we're sourcing the deals ourselves now, and we're sourcing the buyers ourselves now.
Okay.
So we've got 4 properties right now under contract. One of them is actually a lot, but we're just having trouble as far as presenting the deals to the cash buyer, and also just sourcing them, just finding them. We've gone on PropStream and played with the filters and pulled the different cash sales and people that have bought 4 to 10 different properties all cash in that market within the last year or so, and we'll reach out to them. And I'd say from maybe, let's say out of 50, we might get maybe 3 legitimate cash buyers that, we could potentially use in the future, but we're
Uh-huh.
just having trouble as far as presenting the deal to them in a way where it makes sense.
So you're using a lot of like words here, and I don't know if I'm missing something, but like, what do you mean by presenting to them? Like, I'm just trying to understand what's going on here.
So, like, if I get on the phone and, because normally what we'll do is we'll put them in a list and we'll
Mhm.
call. If we don't get them answering, we'll send out a text blast to them. Hey,
Got it.
we noticed you bought X, Y, and Z property for cash in this zip code. Are you interested in, at buying any more deals at a 30 to 40% discount?
Yeah.
Something along those lines in the text. And when we get them on the phone, it's more or less the same how we go about it, and we'll let them know, we've got a property in this area,
Mhm.
whatever it is, a single family, multifamily, and we'll give them the specs, and we'll basically break it down and let them know what the asking price is and how much work it would need. So I don't know if it's just maybe it's the buyers that aren't interested in the deal or the area that we're in, or if we're just not pricing it right. It's just it seems
So
like we're struggling with.
so let's just pick one deal. How many cash buyers have you had to where you could actually present it to them? Like, just tell them about it.
Okay, so right now we're in Pennsylvania in the Newcastle market,
Yeah.
and I've noticed just from speaking to cash buyers that it's a little rough in Newcastle. So from those deals that we have there alone, we pulled, I believe, in the first 2 or 3 days when we were marketing it, we pulled about 100, maybe 120 of the quote unquote cash buyers from PropStream to
Mhm.
call. I'd say out of those 100, we've gotten maybe about 3 or 4 that were semi interested.
So what's the average price points on your 4 properties?
Uh, well, they're a bit scattered. They're not all in the same market,
Okay.
but on average, well, when you say average price point, is that once they're fixed up or what we have them locked up for?
What do you got them locked up for, roughly?
On average, they're about 10 grand.
Okay. So listen, you're in the like the really low income properties. And here's the deal: is like there's never a shortage of buyers. It doesn't matter how bad your area is. And you know, it's when you get on the extreme bottom of the market, like under 20 grand, it's a whole different world there on like buyers. Their buying criteria is very tight. And so if you have 4 under contract and no one's giving you any activity on it, there's only 2 things that can be wrong. I've done this for 20 plus years. Either you bought it wrong and they're politely telling you they're not interested, or you have not contacted enough cash buyers for that area, or it's a combo of both. It can never be anything else. Like there's no other thing else. You call me and you give me a property 40% off, I'll buy it right now. Hands down. Honestly, I will wire the money as soon as I get off this phone and I'm done. Because like I don't like because very few people ever present me deals like that. So if you're saying I'm giving you 30, 40% off and then they see it and it's not, then what you have to do is get feedback from them and go,
Yeah.
is this attractive? Am I missing on the price? Your cash buyer's feedback is everything, especially when you're new to this business, because you've got to like dial it in because you listen, dude, I screw up prices all the time. Like sometimes I take calculated risk. You might have got the wrong price, but you got to get that feedback on a timely basis so you can either get out of the contract or renegotiate it.
Right.
But like if you're not getting feedback from your cash buyers, you're not funneling them through properly. So the first thing is you kind of vet them and bring them through, and then you talk to them. And if they're excited about getting properties at a discount in that market you're in, then if it's attractive, they're going to jump 9 times out of 10. I know it's more challenging in today's market, but I'm here to tell you, you either have the wrong price or you don't have enough activity, or it's both. It's never anything else. Dude, I do this all the time. I'm like, after we can't sell a property, our basically after 3 weeks, if we can't get a contract on our like typical assignments, we dig in. And so the first thing I always ask for, what is the feedback from my disposition people? And if they don't give me feedback, I go nuts because that's the one thing you haven't given me. So what are the feedbacks from the few people that you got to connect with?
So I had somebody, one of these guys actually went by yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and he texted me right after he left, and he goes, "Too much work, not interested." So I said,
Right.
"Is it too much work for where it's priced, or is it just more work than you're able to take on?" And then he kind of broke it down. He told me, it has about 35,000 worth
Huh.
of work, and the house complete would probably go for 40, 45, which I don't know if it's really 40, 45, because the comps in that area, it's weird. They're hit or miss, so on the same block, two houses over, same
Mhm.
house, just an extra bathroom, it sold for
Yeah.
89. So
So what you have to do is you got to get more feedback. And then if you hear the same rhyme over and over, I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, okay, I missed it. And that's
right,
it. And you learn. Either you get a deal or you learn. You can't put properties out on the market and get no feedback. And because then it kind of shoots your confidence. You're like, crap, I don't want to put anything else under contract because I can't move it. Everybody goes through this struggle when they start out marketing. My first 4 or 5 properties I put under contract were way over. I thought I was knocking out of the park. I was so clueless. And you know what I did is I had a cash buyer sit down, and I had an older gentleman. He wound up buying like 75 of my properties. He sat down and took me to lunch. He's like, "Do you know how to comp?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I just look for people motivated." He's like, "Okay, this is what you got to do." And I kind of figured things out. I had to go through that journey to learn it. You have to do it too. You are trying to figure out your market. So are you doing this virtually or locally?
virtually. So I started locally. I'm from New
Yeah.
York, and I realized the
Yeah.
New York market, it's different. It's very
No,
different.
I know. So
And
like my challenge is I started out in a lot of lower income neighborhoods, Section 8.
mhm,
And I'm going to give you the warning. It's a lot of work. It's very dramatic. And I don't like to fish in that market because it requires so much effort. And there's a lot of turnover, a lot of canceled contracts on both sides because of the nature of the beast. But if you're comfortable with it and you understand it, then that's fine. But I'm just telling you, I had quite a few incidents when I was younger and doing the business. I'm like, I don't want to risk my life. This is like pointless. And then my wife had to talk me off a ledge. She's like, you can't be driving these neighborhoods at night. And so I had the back of my window broken in. Um, I've been held up. I've had some really bad stuff happen to me. And I'm out there collecting rents and all cash. And I just decided to get out of that. I just didn't want to do it. So you 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 got to first of all, you got to deal with the contracts you have right now. So
right.
you got to figure out your inspection periods, and you either got to get out of the contracts or you got to renegotiate. But like, if you're under contract at 10, like, can you get it down to 5? Are they still even going to buy it? Like, maybe same price, maybe it's just not a doable property. Because sometimes when they need so much renovation, people just don't want to touch them in the lower end neighborhoods. So
Right.
you're going to have to make a business decision. But like right now, you got to take these 4 contracts, and you just got to try every Hail Mary you can. Activity cures a lot of problems. So get creative, find people that will buy the properties and push harder. You can go much past PropStream and batch. You can go you can go to public records. You can go to realtors that service in that neighborhood, although I doubt there's a lot of realtors that service this. Just dig
Yeah.
deep. And then either you're going to make money or you're going to get a lesson from it. Either way, it's going to develop what you're going to do. Maybe you decide to go, I don't want to do this market because it's too challenging. Like, it's challenging to get these properties sold because they're in such distress in rough neighborhoods. You might come to that decision. It took me 2 years to get out of there. I just said, once the back window got broke, I had to explain it to my wife. She's like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "I don't know. A guy just threw a rock at my window and it freaked me out." But
Yeah, the reason we moved to this market is because we noticed the motivation was just so much great. Like, we started pulling in so many more leads that were actually motivated compared to where we
yeah,
started. So we figured, this will probably be a better place to start out.
you,
And
you could,
we reached
yeah,
out to the realtors there.
uh-huh.
They're like the typical, big box realtors that have been brainwashed, like you said. I
Yeah.
spoke to a bunch of them yesterday. They couldn't understand the concept. So I did have another question as far as the cash buyers. I've never really heard you guys talk about it, but it popped into my head. Do you ever look at, or do you try to look at the amount of cash sales or cash buyers that are in a certain market and determine whether or not it's feasible? Like,
Yeah. We're always looking at that, and here's the problem with it is by the time you get the information, it's dated. So like that's the challenging part in real estate is to identify trends. You got to look at the past history. And by the time the history's passed, if you're not ahead of as a wholesaler, then you got to pay today's retail, prices for it. So I'll give you an example. I found a neighborhood very close to my community, in a very nice community. I found a pocket of just duplexes. Now I found it by accident because I got a probate from there. That probate led to 3 duplexes the family owned. Dude, they sold it to me dirt cheap, owner financing. I was in shock. I was just like, now it took 6 months to straight out the legal paperwork on it. But from that, I bought 5 more in there because I knew. So what happened is I bought them dirt cheap, like under 100 grand. And then I was renting them out for like 2,500 with owner financing. I'm just like, so I connected with a realtor in that area. I go, and she went door to door for me on every one and got me 5 properties. That's where you can utilize a realtor, because I knew everyone was going to figure out what I was doing. And in 4 months, I'm a dead man walking. So that's the problem with information. When you identify it, if you get one property and it works and you guys are farming a certain neighborhood, go crazy, because once that data records and stuff, people are going to see what you're up to, and then hundreds of people are going to gravitate towards it and you miss it. Right. So that prime example, I was buying duplexes in a very affluent community. It was just a pocket for 100 grand. They are now priced at $450,000. You could have made $1 million just with this idea alone. So the challenge in wholesaling and real estate specifically is to identify trends. The problem is if you follow realtor comps and all their data they report, they're 3 months behind and they lag 30 days to report it. So you're 4 months behind by the time you go, oh my God, this thing's growing. By the time you see prices growing in an area growing, you're already priced out because all the other investors have put contracts on those properties. And that's what I hate about this business. For the long-term play, like I still love flipping properties. So I always do my wholesale business, but I play like the big boy market, $1 million commercial properties. And I have to look 10 years down the road, and it's scary. It makes me uncomfortable, but I enjoy it. Like that's how you got to make the big boy money. And then I use my wholesaling. It just pays me and all my bills and my lifestyle. And I put most of it away. To this day, I put as much as I humanly possibly can away, because I plan on doing this the day I die. So you have to identify trends, but the problem in wholesaling, trying to identify trends, if you look at data, you're looking in the rearview mirror. So everybody's looking, just like the stock market, it's always looking 3 to 6 months forward, and you have to do the same thing in real estate. And if you can catch a trend, go crazy. I can't tell you how many times I wish I didn't buy every house on that block when I saw an opportunity, and my mind was too small when I do it. Now I'm crazy. I just recently did this on a mobile home. Like I could go out and try to buy every mobile home in this 1 mile square area. We were buying them for 10 grand. Those mobile homes now, and I bought a lot of them, are now worth $155,000. Wow. And at the time they were running for 300. Now they rent for 1,700. Why? Because I found a Amazon Prime distribution center was 1 mile from this location, and everybody wanted a cheap place to live. Voila.
There you go.
So I liquidated a lot of my Port St. Lucie properties. I moved there, and I got to tell you, the cash flow is like through the roof. Taxes are nothing. I'm like, damn, I wish I bought these things a long time ago. But like sometimes some of the trends are like, guys, look for these Amazon Prime distribution centers. They have thousands of employees, and they're all paid good wages, and they're all looking for good, safe homes. So if you can if you can find out where they are. By the way, we all had this data. Amazon made it all public. I didn't find it till I was driving around, like driving for dollars. So understand, the more you get in your market, the more you have to understand this area is up and coming. This is an area where they knock down houses. And then once you can find 1 or 2 of these trends, do your wholesaling and find the trend, and then go all in when you do it, because you're not gambling. You already know where it's going. You just got to find a way to put it together.
Right. All right. Last one before I let you go. This isn't really a question, sort of a question. The deal that I was referencing that I actually had somebody check out yesterday, I submitted it to you guys at Sell My Paper along with the other ones that I have. I kind of just included them in there. How quickly do you guys typically tend to get back to somebody? Because I submitted it like the first day you guys opened it up, and then I sent it out again maybe like a week or 2 later because I never heard anything back.
Okay, let me take a look back at it. So, we get overloaded. To be honest, we go through every one of them.
Yeah, I bet.
Here's the deal though. You got to honor the agreement, because if you're out there marketing like you say to everybody else, I don't want to get involved, because that's our rule number one. We can't have two parties marketing a property.
Yeah.
So we just had a deal. Like, I love, like, we're still trying to make it as smooth as possible. It's not the easiest thing in the world what we do with, JVing with everybody, but like, I've already had people like, oh, like, we did all the work, we found the buyer, put all the paperwork together, ran title, and I got people selling it behind my back. I promise you, the minute you do that, we're done with you, because you guys got to understand, I have to spend my money, like underwriting the deals, getting someone to help, finding the partner, and doing everything. And if you're out there trying to sell them on your own, then we're just competing with each other.
Yeah.
And so here's the problem: is these national companies, I'm not going to like give names here, but they're franchises and they got all these cute names on them. It's ridiculous what's going on. And then when we get it, and my girl goes, "Hey, listen, it's on these 5 sites. He or she's trying to sell it behind your back." Well, the minute you do that, we're out. Like, I'm done. We just did a deal, had the whole thing sold, and somebody undercut us, and it's like, okay. And the guy wants to submit like 4 or 5 more deals. I'm like, I don't do business with people that can't honor their agreement. So you got to understand, you've got to do, like, we are not the last stop shop. I don't want to go, hey, give me your deal and then I'll try to sell it. If your deal's not selling or it doesn't make sense, the idea is to give you feedback. We're trying to get quicker with it. I keep trying, but I got to hire quality people that understand what we do as wholesalers,
Right.
and understand me and Zach's expectations. And that just takes some time, and we're getting better each week with it. But I promise you, if you submit a good deal, like we are on them. But like, you guys can understand, it costs 50, 60 grand just to sort through the stuff. And then here's my only rule though, you're going to have to fix is you can't be marketing it and we marketing, because it's so exhausting. It's like,
yeah, no, I've
you
noticed
understand what I'm saying? And it's like, I get it. You want a quick answer. So when I get off this, I will sit down with everybody I'm working with, and I will go through it and make sure. So what name did you have it submitted under?
it's under my name, under Christian.
Okay. I'll go back and take a look at it. But guys, listen, when we do sellmypaper.com, I just want you to understand, like, we've put rules in place. And if you break one of the rules, like, we're not going to, like, I do this for free. Go to the guys and gals that charge you a couple $1,000s to submit deals and go through their charades. I'm not going to do it. I already know I'm cherry picking. I say it up front. Everyone else is lying to you. I'm looking for deals that will make both of us money. It's a win-win situation that you can learn and help you out, get confidence and do it. But if you go around and you try to sell it and do all this stuff, it just creates havoc, and you'll piss your seller off. You'll definitely piss me and Zach off. And we go, listen, I don't need this hassle. And we've had a lot of those, like, we've had a few of them go on lately, and like, we're trying to set boundaries and rules, because the last thing I want you to do is you busting your butt, us busting our butt, and then the seller gets pissed and nobody makes any money.
Yeah.
That's what goes on with daisy chaining most of the time. You guys are so eager to sell stuff, you start being realtors, and it's not a good way to do business. It's just, so I'll look at it and make sure it's looked over today, Christian, and see what's going on with it. Have someone reach out to you. So,
all right. So just to follow up to that real quick, because I've noticed the same thing. Like, me and my partner will market a deal, and I might end up calling somebody that he already called, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, somebody just..." It's
torture, and it makes us all look bad.
Yeah, it makes you look real bad. Yeah.
But apparently that's the norm in the business, and all the, like, these national franchises, a lot of the corporate owned ones, to be fair, they're ruthless, man. They will do anything to sell a property. They don't care who they screw over. And I just don't want any part of this game. I literally just had a national brand name step over it, like, terrible, terrible stuff. And that's fine. Like, listen, I don't need to do business with everybody. That's fine. Like, so that means the JV partner was marketing it on their own, because I would never work with these people ever. So we have a blacklist of people we will never, ever sell a property to, because they have a history of screwing people over. And as we go in time, we build that Rolodex up, because we're trying to save you the pain. There's so many scam artists out there, guys. You just got to be careful who you JV with. You know how many stories you guys give me of, like, JV hell stories? Like, I found this deal. I did everything. I took it. This guy had me write the contract, and then he assigned the contract, and I was supposed to get paid a title company, and I never heard back from him. Hundreds of times I hear it over and over. You're not going to get that with me and Zach. We're going to be, like, very straightforward. You go, hey, listen, But our goal is to let you know early and quickly. And if I haven't done that, Christian, I apologize and I will fix it. And the idea is, so you know if we're doing a deal, and if we're not doing a deal, you can make a decision if you need to renegotiate or get out of the deal. So I'll work on that as soon as I get off the live.
All right, cool. I'm gonna let you go and let you get to somebody else. But so
Okay.
just in terms of that, so if we're gonna submit a deal to you, or just so everybody knows, if we're gonna submit a deal to you, should we stop marketing it before we submit it to you, or once we hear something back?
So the idea is you get it under contract,
Right.
and you submit it that day, or maybe within a day or two afterwards.
Okay.
And you got to have a reasonable inspection, like a 3-day inspection period. Don't send it to me because I can't, unless it's 50 cents on the dollar, it's even hard to fund that deal and get it done.
Right.
So the idea is if you got a deal and you know it's a deal and you've worked hard and you did everything following the book, freewholesaling.com, you have a motivated seller, there's meat on the bones for everyone, and you want to work with us and you're okay getting 50%, then we can put the deal together and make it work. And the really cool part is if you're new to this game, you get I'm not saying the protection means Zach, just the experience, but we're just going to give you the truth because I'm not charging you up front. I mean, do you realize people charge you guys to submit deals to be rejected? It's a back-end course. It's all BS. Why would you guys ever, people apparently do it because somebody was bragging about making millions of dollars just on this scheme alone. It's terrible. And when you do that, they're never going to give you the truth and they're going to constantly dance around your excuses. With me, hey, it works or it doesn't work. And if it's close, go listen. If you can get us on a 3-way call, hell, I'll call the seller. Zach will call and we'll just try to adjust the contract. You give us some particulars and we try to make it work. And the more honest we are on who's involved in the transaction, who's getting paid, the easier it is for everybody involved. Guys, listen, I've done so many JV deals. I've had every bad thing happen. There's nothing worse that can happen to me. I promise you. So here are the rules. You got to have a good deal. And we're going to underwrite it, make sure it is. And number 2, you can't market the property. The minute you violate the marketing of the property, we're done. We just delete you out of there and you can never submit a deal again. And honestly, I just don't want to work with people like that because it's counterproductive. I don't want to fight with you selling the deal. So if we work together, and a lot of people don't like that. Well, I want the option of selling on my own. I go, well, there's plenty of franchises that will give you that option. Go knock yourself out. I don't do that. Remember, guys, I don't have 100 to 500 employees trying to do this. I have a staff that I trust, and we're learning how to do everything nationally, and we want to work with you to do it. And be brutally honest with you, most of these JV companies, it's brutal, man. It's scary what they do. There's people they'll option your deals. They do all this stuff. And to me, I'm just straightforward. Here's the deal. 50-50. Don't sell it and make sure you submit it as soon as you get under contract. We have a shot. When we initially did this, the first time we did it, everyone was submitting a deal a day or two before it expired. We still did deals, but we wasted a lot of time doing that. So that's why we've kind of made the adjustments on it. So I'll work on that, Christian. So the idea is don't market it and make sure you submit it from the day of your contract within a day or two. So we have a shot at it. So if you have a 10-day inspection period and you give it to me 3 days later, you're probably going to get rejected because there's nothing I can do that quick unless you have it 50 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, no, I got 45 days on it. So I made sure it's a decent amount of time.
I promise you when I get off this, I'll work on that for you. Okay.
All right. I appreciate it, Rick.
Okay, man. Okay. I'll see you later. Okay. So let me pull up one comment here. Oh, there it is. Somebody says here, hey, Rick, if I were to JV another wholesaler with me, bringing the cash buyer and then bringing you the deal to the potential buy, how would I structure the plot deal and make it work if possible? If I were to bring another wholesaler to bring me, listen, just dude, I'm not here to take your money. If you already going to work with another wholesaler and they're bringing you the cash buyer, just do a joint 50-50. You don't need me. I would love to make money, and so if you need help putting it together, I guess you can cut it in, but you can easily do that on yourself. It's not that hard. So I would just do a 50-50, but that's me. But there's a lot of greedy people out there who tell you 80-20, 70-30, 60-40, whatever you guys agree on. And if everybody holds her into the bargain, it's fine. If you don't trust that person and you want to work with me and Zach to oversee it, I don't know how many ways you can split a deal. So let me know. I'll work with anyone to help them out. Like, remember, I want to make money on successful deals and put money in your pocket, as opposed to how every other guru does is they want your money up front. Then they're going to teach you how to do it and they'll never do a deal with you because the reality is what they're teaching you is never going to work. That's the truth. That's why no gurus will offer to partner up with you because they're scared to death, because then their stuff would actually have to work. So, okay, let's keep jumping on here. Who did I miss? Oh my God, there's a lot of people on here. I'm gonna keep going. Okay. Lopez, you there?
Yeah. Hey, Rick, can you hear
Hey,
me?
how you doing?
Let me see if I can put my camera on. Hey, good to see you. How you doing?
Hey, that's good, man. How are you?
Oh man, I'm so grateful to see you. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm also happy to be alive and breathing and looking at you and talking to you today.
All right, man. See, so like attitude's half the game in wholesaling. So you got it nailed. So what's going on? What can I help you out with?
All right, so I got just a couple questions so that you can keep going to the next first people.
Okay.
Okay, so I got a property in Memphis, Tennessee. 100,000
Okay.
is what they asked for. I did what you and Zach said and lowball, and I was scared to death, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
So I asked for 40.
Yeah.
And I was expecting this person to just shut me down and tell
So what
me
happened?
take a hike. She said, yeah, that's too low, but I'll take 78.
So guys, I want you to understand that by her going for the no, like you knew when you threw out the 40 you were going to get rejected, right?
Yes.
It's actually easier. Like, I know what's coming back with this, but you said it openly, and I'm sure you even did so you did it virtually or locally?
Virtually on the phone.
So she did the scrunchy face. She looked at me. She was awkward and uncomfortable. And then she got a no. But the goal is not the no, is she got a counter. So now she doesn't have to fish for the price any longer. And she told you what?
78.
So now she knows the range is somewhere probably 78 to probably 50. Like, that's probably the parameters you're going to have to work within. 50 would be a stretch. But so many of you guys go for the yes on the first shot, and you do your MAO, which is your maximum allowable offer. And what I teach her is to do the LAO, the least allowable offer, because you have no room to negotiate if you start at the tippy top. And so many people want to get a yes. You act like you're looking to get your first prom date. Don't. You want to be rejected. The sooner you're rejected, the sooner you can start a negotiation. So many of you guys struggle with a negotiation. If you just get a no and get a counter, the reality is your number, like if they took 40, you'd be okay with it anyways. And they just gave you like a cheat sheet. This is the least amount I'll take. It saves you a lot of time. And by the way, when they say that's the least amount they take, it's always a lie. Just so you know. It's just like they're thinking 78. So maybe you get it on the 65, 70. Like, I don't know. So I'm just telling you, by doing that, because if you went and offered your traditional like 75, you're stuck. She might just take it. And you're going to be like, oh crap, I offered too much. So guys, go for the no up at. It's not about like, I don't want you to be rejected, but you're better off asking for the no than the yes up front, because they do exactly what they do. They give you a counter. Now, they don't always give you a counter, but for the most part, they will give you a reaction. And I want you to understand that reaction. It's raw and it's a subconscious reaction. It's a defense mechanism. Like, oh, I could never take less than like 75, 78. You're like, you just peeled off 3 hours of work by making that comment. So what are you going to do with it?
Okay, so that's my question, because I'm new at this, and so basically after she says 78, I told her I'd go back to my partner, right? Good cop, bad cop, because I told her my partner, I don't know if he would take that price.
Your partner's cheap.
Yes, partner's cheap. So at this point, so I told her I talked to my partner, and my partner in this case is you.
Okay.
So I was wondering, as my partner, what do you think I should come back to her? Like, should I wait a week, 2 weeks? Should I?
So when
call
did you
her right
talk to her?
away? Say again.
When was your conversation?
Okay, so my conversation today is Friday. I talked to her on Wednesday and couldn't get her on the live until today. So
Okay. So do me a favor. Just submit an email to support at Flip with Rick and put your name in all caps on the top.
okay.
And just give me specifics on it, and I'll give you like a quick pointer. I know that market pretty well. That's all I'm going to
Tennessee?
say.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, you just give me address, particulars. And the idea is now you're down to like, now you got, we got to see what the ARV is. I'm not going to tie everybody up doing that. So now you have a chunk of wood. So now you just got to do some fine carving to see if it's going to work out.
Okay.
So so you've done the bulk of the work. Now you just got to see if it's going to work. And remember, you got to be careful what people ask for. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me. It doesn't mean I hate the word ask, because ask to me is like a wish. So now you got to get down to the actual ARVs and see if you have a wholesale deal. And so until you give me those numbers, I'll look at it quick and just give you a quick answer and tell you where you need to be at. But you got to let me know about like any repairs or anything that you think's with the property from the information they gave you.
Okay. So let me just repeat to you what you just told me to make sure. So you said email you after we're done here with my name all in caps. So it's going to be Esmeralda Lopez. And then
by the way, guys, I get like 700 emails a day. So like, it's just, I pay someone to help me sort my emails. So like, if you don't follow the instructions, it doesn't get to me, because it's like, I'm like Nick, I'm too overwhelmed if I try to open every email. I want to, but unfortunately more than half of them are just crap. It's like the amount of solicitations I get every day of consultants. It's like a joke.
Wow. So I really got to pay attention here. So what you said is put my name all in caps. So it's going to be Esmeralda Lopez, all in caps, put the address. And then you also said any repairs that she told me about. Repairs. So put in repairs, put in the address. And then what else did you say to put on the email? Just
any pertinent information to it.
Okay.
And I have a long day ahead of me. So just do it, because the Friday's the one day I spend all day in the office, which I hate doing, because I hate sitting in an office. I'd rather be out on a boat, and I'd rather look at properties and do like crap like that. But like, we have to get there. I love looking through deals though. Don't get me wrong. I really love looking at deals. So let's just see it. But like, here's the one thing you have to be careful about. You got to understand, just because they had an ask price of like 100 and you got it down to 75, 78 doesn't mean it's a deal.
Right.
So now you have to determine like, what's the real value of the property. And then this is kind of where you get down to it. And then once you find the number, then you're going to find out their true motivation. And then either you get a deal quickly or it takes time to work them. Remember, if a person won't come down on price because they're not motivated enough, what are the two factors that will cure that? See if you're paying attention.
Okay. So your question is, if they don't come down on price,
and you've negotiated the crap out of them, like you've tried everything, you've worked it. Maybe you've done 5 or 6 phone calls. What do you do other than a basic follow-up? What are the two things that could potentially make that a deal somewhere?
Wow, I'm failing at this because it's not coming up in my head.
Number one is time.
Number one, okay, yeah, time.
That's kind of a lot of the stuff I say is really common sense stuff. I know it's like that brilliant. And circumstance, and when people have a life-changing event. Gotcha. So a lot of these people, guys, just so you understand, 70% of my leads are stuck in this. It's normal. And all we do is every 30 days, hey, just checking on you, see how you doing. How's the weather there? Hey, has anything changed? You got any flexibility on that price? Okay. Well, call me if anything changes. And then every now and then something changes. You're like, Rick, you're never going to believe what happened. And if you're not in front of them in sight, you don't get the deal. You actually set up the wholesaler or the realtor behind you just to make it super easy. You give them the price and everything. So it's just like, guys, a lot of times it's a simple, with automations, with text and email, it's even easier today. So I'm just telling you, it's not sexy, but like, I have deals. I have follow-ups from 7 years ago. Like, I'm still working them because I really want the properties. It just, sooner or later, like, you get them. But like every now and then someone will call me out of the blue. Even the ones I forgot to follow up. And they're like, yeah, remember we met 3 years ago? I'm just like, yeah. She goes, And here's the best part: when a market went up like it recently did, they go, "Would you do that same price back then?" I'm thinking, like, well, what was the price? I didn't even remember. She was like 110. I'm like, no problem. Sold it for 250 2 months later. But it was
Wow.
4 years. It was 4 years I waited around, and like but I'll be honest with you, I gave up on them. I just stopped. I'm like, it's never going to sell. And then one day they go, you were nice enough. You met with us like I think 6 times, and we're ready to go. I'm like thinking, okay, what do you want? Like $1 million now? They're like, no. If you'll honor that price. So it was a messy probate with 17 heirs, and they all got in a fight over it. They actually got a physical fight in the front yard. And I remember going, listen, guys, work it out. Call me when it's done. There was like 8 brothers, and they were scrappers, man. I was like, I go, you guys are going to fight this out. He's like, this is how we work stuff out in our family. I'm like, I'll see you later. I go, I don't want to be part of this. And that's it. And then when I bought the deal, they left a pit bull in the backyard. And I love animals. I think dogs are like probably the purest breed ever. There's nothing you can say bad about a dog other than they get a little messy. But I was scared to death of this dog, but it was chained to the back. And it wound up being the sweetest pit bull like ever.
Aw.
And I remember my acquisition guy, he's like, well, let's just throw it in your car. I go, are you kidding me? We're going to throw a pit bull that's chained to the backyard in the back of my car? I'm like, put him in the back of the truck. He's like, no, he's scared. I'm just like, and I trusted him. And like, he just knew the animals better than I did. And he's just like, he just wrapped up. I was like, and we took him to the shelter and we actually got him relocated, but it was like, and pit bulls are really hard, guys. So it was like another obstacle. I'm like, I can't leave a dog in a backyard. So guys, when you do wholesaling, have a heart with people and help them out. But like animals, especially. So I had another one where I rescued 41 cats for a lady. She had them like living like in the house. And her condition was, if you can help me get these cats a safe home. I'm like,
Meow.
so, but you know who helped me out? My daughter helped me out with that. She helped me. So we went through 5 different animal rescue places. And she says, as long as they don't kill them, I'll sell you the house. I'm just like, how am I going to come through on this promise? But here's the thing, guys. Your sellers look to see if you're going to honor your agreements. And if you don't, they're not going to do deals with you. So like, remember, the real estate is just a side effect of human problems. That's all it is. And once you understand that, like, you'll change how you operate in this business. So I would just want you guys to understand and recognize it. So send me that email. Let's look at it and we'll kind of go from there. Okay.
Oh, I gotta. So let me just repeat what you just said. Time, like sometimes. So the 2 things are time and circumstance. If they don't go down on price, and either just keep following up, and just let time pass. And what you're saying is that sometimes time needs to pass, and they'll get back to you when they're
guys,
ready.
like so many people think, understand this, guys, always wholesaling is you can't make people do deals with you. You can only guide them.
Yeah.
So if you look at yourself as a guide, what's a guide do? They explain the situation, they explain the market, and you walk them down an aisle. And then you get down to the negotiations. You got to get a little nasty and hit them with the go for no. And then remember, the part of your guide is to help your sellers get out of their own way. Most of the people we deal with, they're overwhelmed, they're scared, and it's the biggest transaction of their life. So if you think of it as a guide, listen, realtors are to a point the realtors are a terrible fit for wholesaling. They can't deal, like their only problem is to get the highest and best offer for a house. And wholesaling, it's kind of the opposite. Like, how can I get rid of this thing and have dignity and still get like a fair amount of money? And that's our job to do it, like no matter what. And if you understand that, so if you try to sell people, you're going to struggle in wholesaling. It's not about selling. It's, guys, I've had full-time sales job. It's not even close to it. All we do is qualify, educate, and guide and follow up. That is it. And if it doesn't fit, don't try to cram that square peg into a round hole. No matter what you do, it's not going to go in. I don't care how hard you beat it. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Okay. So qualify, educate, guide. One quick question on that property. She says she's renting it for $850 a month. And I think according to one of the videos I saw from you and Zach, if they're able to rent it for that much, a cash buyer would potentially buy it for 85. Is that right?
If it's in good shape.
If it's in good shape. So it depends.
So that's going to be the catch there. So that's what we call the 1% rule. So
Yep.
if I bought a property for $85,000, I should be able to get 850, but you have to account what you have to put into the property because our
Mm,
cash buyers have to account for that when they do that. So
gotcha.
you want to see a big, so if I buy a property for 100,000 and the rent rolls like 1,800, I get excited because I can excite any cash buyer with that. Because what does a cash buyer want to do? They want to get a return on their investment. And guys, all calculations on real estate, it's like really easy. If you can't get a comp and you got like an ugly house, but it rents, just take the rents, minus off the expenses. The expenses are the taxes, the insurance, and leave a couple months for vacancy. And then that'll give you a net number. And then just divide it by the price or the return you expect to get on it. And that's going to give you the market price of the property. It's really that simple. And by the way, all commercial properties, that's how they're priced. What's the NOI divided by the price, and that'll give you the cap rate. So the higher the cap rate, the more excited the investors tend to get. And if cap rates exceed 25%, you're probably being lied to and someone's about to rob you blind. Okay. Whenever I've done a cap rate over like 35%, it always comes with extreme risk. Bad neighborhoods, place can get burnt down. I can't get it insured. It's in a descending neighborhood. It's going south. And so like the number one thing in a cash buyer they want a return, but you know what the number one thing they all want? You ready?
I'm ready.
They want preservation of their capital. You want to know, if I put 100 grand in this property, I want to know at least I come back to 100 grand. And if you get like so whenever I get a high cap rate, I walk away. It's all really 48% cap rate. Am I going to get shot? Like what's going to happen? And that's what happened. So I bought one. I bought a sixplex in a terrible, terrible neighborhood. I bought it for $10,000 from the bank. And I go, man, how can I go wrong? Dude, I walked away and lost $40,000 and was happy to write the check at the end.
Oh boy.
So it got burnt down once. I got everything robbed out of there and I got a $4,000 water bill.
Ouch.
And then you know what? The property traded hands 36 times in a 10-year period before I bought it. And I didn't learn from history and I learned my lesson. You cannot fix bad neighborhoods unless you buy the entire neighborhood. It's impossible. So it's crazy, man. So, okay.
Can I ask you one super quick question? And then
one last one. Let's go.
All right. One last one. If you had, if someone told you got to move out of Florida and you got to tell me that your top 3 areas that you would move to just for wholesaling, just for like the best success of your wholesaling business, what would be your top 3 areas you would move to?
Yeah, that's not a fair question because it's like, well, because first of all, I do virtual marketing all over the country. I'm just like you guys. I'm competing with all of you, like to a point, but like we're better off if we share. But like I've done at least 5 videos, and I've publicly shared it. Now that information moves over time. Yeah. And I am respectful of people I work with within these groups that are doing amazing in their markets. And I don't go, okay, you need to go to this market because this guy or gal is like hitting out of the park. Most of the time it's because of your personal efforts. So many guys think there's this cheap market you can go to. It's not. There's saturated markets, Miami, San Francisco, Manhattan, stuff like that. But just go through my videos. Me and Zach have done a ton on them, and it's constantly moving and changing. And out of respect to everybody in the community, because someone's going to get pissed if Rick, I get all the time, Rick, why are you telling everybody come to my market? I'm like, it's just a general comment. Like, it's not hard. Guys, I already told you, just reverse engineer other wholesalers and you'll find out with the greatest of ease.
All right. Thank you, Rick.
Okay.
I appreciate you so much. You have a fantastic, blessed day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Talk to you. Bye. Okay. Let me see here. Michelle, I will take a look at that. So if you put it on sellmypaper.com, it should be there. So I'll check it out. So I appreciate it when you guys put it in there. And guys, just work with us. We're doing our best to get everything done. Like we've had a tremendous amount of success, but we do have some small growing pains, and we'll be talking about like that in the future. So I got time for one more. CK, you there?
Yes, sir, I am.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Dude, I can't complain. I'm above the ground today. So
man, absolutely, man.
What's going on?
I know y'all saying the channel is growing, but it really is growing, man. It used to be a time I used to try to get into these lives easy. Now the line is out the window, right?
No, I know, but I try to be, but like guys, you gotta understand, we go 6 days a week. So like I like seven's gonna be a little extreme. So
Right.
like honestly, if anybody really wants to talk to me, someone always finds a way to connect with me. And
Right.
I try to be fair about like, listen, me and Zach are the only ones that do everything for free. So we
Right.
have to put some little bit of limitations on like some of the stuff we do. Otherwise, I just I don't get a life, you know. So it's
Yeah, I understand.
I try to reward the ones that go on first, and I pick a way through it. And it is what it is. Like Monday's probably the best time if somebody wants to connect with me. Like Monday, like I'm never completely full. So I'm just like, if you guys want to get it, you'll find a way to connect with me. I promise.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you, but all right, cool. Let me go ahead and get it in real fast.
Okay, let's
Before I
go.
get it. All right, so I had this potential deal. It's like some land deal, but it's like it's two multiple properties. So I'm just wondering, like, how do you put multiple properties on one contract?
So are they deeded together or are they separate parcels?
They're separate parcels.
So you can technically do two contracts. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
So like don't complicate stuff. Like even if you do it wrong, you give it to the title company, they'll help you fix it. I do it wrong all the time. Title company's like, why did you put two properties on one contract? I go, because he told me that. Like she goes, just sort them out. Like, but once you get a signature and you're good with the price, that's just a technicality. So don't ever worry about that. Remember, properties are traded by people having conversations and coming to an agreement and helping people solve problems. So that is a minor technicality. Do not even slightly worry about that.
Okay, cool. All right. Second question is,
Yeah.
I'm doing a little bit of virtual marketing right now. Too. I got a contract that's getting ready to be signed. He signed it, but I didn't put all the information, so it's voidable right now. But the point
Okay.
is, he's in Arkansas. I'm in Illinois. So where should the contract go? Should it be in Illinois or should it be in Arkansas?
I'm confused. Where's the property located?
Arkansas.
And where's the seller located?
Arkansas.
So Arkansas it is.
So the contract has to be in Arkansas, in the state of Arkansas.
Yeah, it's always got to reside where the property is, and preferably
Okay.
in the county they're in. So make sure the title company you work with does business in that county.
Okay.
Because they know how to underwrite it, how to check for liens and everything. Every county is different. It's like I would never use my Florida title companies to do something in Arkansas. They'd be like, number one, they're not licensed. Number two, they wouldn't know how to do it.
Right. That's what I was wondering about. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, yeah, I got to rewrite it. Okay. Because I was going to
Okay.
submit that to you guys, but now I know, like, once you submit it, don't give it to nobody else. Just wait for you
But
guys.
that's it. Like, but like, honestly, we'll give you feedback on it. If it doesn't work, then do what you want with it. And that's all
Right.
you want. If you guys would just get the truth about the business and stop being snowballed, it'd be easier. And don't get pissed at me and Zach, because we're just going to tell you the truth. When you guys pay money, you're going to get what we call a delayed truth. So many of you guys hire people thinking they're going to make you accountable. It's actually the complete opposite. I'm just telling you, like, once you pay them, why do you think they're going to be accountable for? They could care less if you succeed or not. They know 95% of you guys are going to quit, and they take advantage of that part. Me and Zach kind of do it the opposite. So like, give us a little bit of like a leadway, but understanding like I am not the last ditch effort. Call the other franchisees that do that. Because you're wasting everyone's time.
Okay. All right. The next question is the property that I got in Arkansas. It actually has property in it, like as far as like cars and stuff like that. Said he's willing to just put it in the contract because it's too much of a hassle trying to move it.
So what's the question then?
How do I put that in the contract? Should I, as a car, should I just write cars or the make and model
So
of the car?
you can include it in like the additional section on the contract.
Right.
But like, let me just warn you on one thing, okay? I've bought more crap with houses. My wife will never. I used to have an entire storage warehouse of SH, you know what?
Right.
Because I bought so much crap. You're gonna find out in the end, you don't like use most of it. I bought boats, cars. Right now, I have a huge boat that I picked up in a real estate deal that I bought on the water. And I'm just like, I mean, I got like 100K in this thing just in repairs. So it's like, just be careful because a lot of the stuff outside of real estate will throw you off. And I'm here to tell you, be very careful because it's a huge distraction. when my son first started, he would take over garage sales to make extra money. And like he would pocket, like I would pay him when he was young to manage the garage sales because I can't deal with garage sales. Like, you want a nickel for this, you want a dime for this. I can't do with it. So he used to make $1,000. Like, this is amazing. I go, I just made 50K. Like, you sit there and do that. I'm going to do this. And I learned a long time ago, if someone tries to sell you up because of the furniture or the contents in the garage, unless it's something you really specifically want, like a 1972 Corvette that's in perfect condition, don't ever pay more for people's crap. Because in the end, 9 times out of 10, you got to pay someone to dispose of it. And it's going to cost you time and money. And so I never get excited about stuff in a house. You can't. The furniture, just so you know, is worthless.
Absolutely.
Ask me how I know this. So a lot of times I go, listen, if I take your stuff, I actually have to get a reduction in price. That's how I talk to them. Because then if you want it, then you just get it for free. It's not a negotiating point. But like, I'm just telling you, man, so many times I bought furniture in the house and then I got to pay a guy $500 to dispose of it. And then I have to get a dumpster and all this other crap. I go, so much for the free furniture. It costs money. Most people leave it behind because of a reason. But like, I've learned furniture is like, nobody wants used furniture. They just don't want it. You don't believe me? Go to Facebook Marketplace and look up couches. They're $20 to $30 everywhere and nobody wants them.
Trust me, I know. We got a basement at my mother's house. She's like, oh, somebody's trying to sell it. I'm like, nobody wants it.
Nobody wants it because people buy furniture all the time. I'm here to tell you guys, don't, unless you have a specific, but like, even dude, I got sucked in the boat. I'm like 100K deep into it. And I'm like, that free boat's costing me a fortune. So I'm just telling you, it's like, so then we get into areas like we don't know. And by the way, I can't tell you how many old cars I bought. I'm like, I'm going to restore it. Nightmare. Like, I had one, I got 10,000 into it and it wound up costing $72,000 to restore it. I sold it to a buddy and I still lost money. I'm just like, he has the car to this day. He's like, it's the greatest thing ever. But back in the day, restoring cars was really cool. Now it's really expensive. It's like so hard to get old parts and people with the skill set to do it. Just be careful outside the real estate, guys, because I have been burnt. Like, the only times I've ever got burnt in real estate is the crap outside of the real estate. I go, oh, I can do this, I can do that. I bought people's like business inventory. I bought an entire sign company one. I bought $200,000 in printing equipment. And every time I do it, it winds up being a huge distraction and a money pit. So just try to focus on the real estate. If they have to throw it in and you're doing a service for them and you're getting a good deal, then that's fine. Right. But like, don't ever think you're going to get rich on the materials inside of a house.
Yeah, I wasn't really looking at it like getting rich because it was just like they kind of use cars. They all right. Like it's some like $2 or $3 grand to pop them off, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
So and it's also, just like, yeah. So I got, I remember I had a one car in a garage and then I had to pay a guy $500 to yank it out of the garage because it was like filled with the rats and shit. Like there was nothing we could do with it. And part of the condition was, she's like, you just got to take it as is. And then I found out it's not that easy to get rid of an old car nobody wants.
Wow.
Cost me $500 and I included it. I'm just like, I got it for free and it still cost me $500. And like, you have to account for this stuff in your business. So like, be very, very, very careful. And here's what I do at a garage sale. When people's garage is full, I'll pay someone to open the garage, stick in a garage sale sign. I go, just take whatever cash you want. I don't give a crap. Just at the end of the day, the garage has to be empty. Right. And it like, then I never have to pay for it. I'm like, I'm serious. It has to be empty. That's the deal. So if you make $5 grand, I'm fine with it. As long as my garage is empty, that's all I care about.
Okay.
Because it costs a lot of money to put out dumpsters and have people load them. The dumpster and the loading of like a garage can cost you $800 to $1,000. So unfortunately, we have to buy people's crap all the time, but I'm getting discounts and I'm okay with it. So. Okay, I think CK checked out there. So guys, listen, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Check out my personal YouTube channel, Rick Ginn. I have some unique stuff that I don't share on Flip with Rick because if you guys like what I do and you want to tune in that information, that's great. Also, my son has a channel, Zach Ginn. Check him out on there. And obviously, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. So guys, if you have a deal you want to submit it, sellmypaper.com. It's on the bottom. I'm going to get off this live and jump on deals. Guys, have a fantastic weekend. Go out there and get deals. And remember, you're running a marathon. You are not running a sprint.